We're following breaking news right now off of our highways. This is a live look from our ODOT cameras. I know the camera's a little blurry there, but you can still see a semi-trailer fire. It caused traffic impacts on I-75 south at Dixie Highway. Right now, the left lane is still restricted at last check. West Carrollton police telling us, though, thankfully, no injuries. Again, this is I-75 south at Dixie Highway.
This is a Dayton 24/7 Now Code Red Weather Alert.
As you heard, we're still under that Code Red Weather Alert tonight.
So we got a live look from our Eco Plumber Skycam now, and it was cold. I mean, below zero. I don't know what else to say at this point. It was cold.
Thanks for pointing. Thank you.
Just being Captain Obvious,
so
but
do
it
we
was
even
terrible.
need to toss to Tim then?
Well, he can tell us just how cold it'll be.
There you go.
Look at this. Ready for it?
Yeah.
It's real cold. Single digit temperatures tonight and into the morning. We're actually already in the single digits, right around 8-9 degrees right now. And winds on top of that are going to be around 10 to 20 miles per hour in the morning, going up to around 25-30 mile per hour gusts, possible sporadically in the afternoon. So across the entire day tomorrow, going to be very cold. Wind chills 10 to 20 below zero, like I was saying. So that is why we are also under a wind chill advisory. This one across the entire Miami Valley. We've had one of these every single day the past couple days. They just haven't covered the entire area. But this one does entail the entire region. It is until 10 a.m. tomorrow.
Multiple schools are closing tomorrow due to the extreme cold.
That's right.
That includes Dayton
Even
Public
the cold
Schools,
is messing with our tech too tonight, guys. I don't know what to tell
like,
you.
what's happening now?
Only a minute in.
I thought I did wrong. It wasn't me. New Lebanon local schools, Springfield City Schools, and Horizon Science Academy High School. You can see all of those, though, are scrolling at the bottom of your screen right now, and they will stay updated throughout the night tonight. And make sure you check in and watch your day beginning at 5 a.m. for the very latest.
Now, the cold not only forcing schools to close, also making some food pantries be forced to shut down. With God's grace, though, saying its locations will be open tomorrow, Friday, and Saturday. So Jenny Borg found out what the need might look like. What were they expecting exactly?
Well, with less food pantries open, With God's Grace expects to be busier tomorrow. The hours will be from 10:30 to 1 o'clock, telling me everyone in line before 1 o'clock will be served.
If it takes us 3 hours later, we'll make sure that the line does get solved. And we know when we're not there, it's devastating on the families in that community. So we, to take the choice to shut down, that is not an option.
And, I was told that the free grocery store was busy today, so they were wrapped around the building outside and they were very cold. They are expecting that tomorrow for the mobile pantry. Back to you.
All right, Jenny, thank you. Community leaders across the Miami Valley are joining together to combat hunger in the area, the Super Bowl of Caring, helping to eliminate child hunger in Dayton. So our partners, they're going to be accepting food and monetary donations throughout the area. Those donations will then be distributed to 3 local organizations: the Food Bank, For Love of Children, or Flock, and the House of Bread. You can contribute by taking out your phone, scan the QR code to make a donation. That drive ends February 12th.
Tonight, shocking allegations coming out of a public hearing to disqualify former Trotwood Mayor Mary McDonald from the March ballot. McDonald, a longtime Democrat, is trying to run as Republican for Montgomery County Commissioner. She's being accused of not following the proper steps to change parties, but it was what happened at today's hearing that really set her supporters off. Lydia Bice was there when a confidential document was leaked to her opposition.
So this hearing was definitely tense. Tonight I've confirmed the Board of Elections is investigating exactly who leaked this document. And now I want to start at the beginning of this. So the protest to disqualify McDonald from the March primary race was filed by Montgomery County Democratic Party Chairman Muhammad Al-Hamdani and a Republican named Brenda Blauser.
A hearing was held on Tuesday to determine if former Trotwood mayor and former Democrat Mary McDonald should be able to run as a Republican in March. But when the lawyer representing the protesters mentioned a certain document, things took a turn.
The director is asking you.
I'm sorry.
Who did you receive that legal memorandum from?
I don't remember, but I think probably from Mr. Lieberman would be the best of my
Do
recollection.
you know how Mr. Lieberman received that private communication? That is privileged information for the board and the board needed to waive the privilege to give to anybody.
Lieberman is an attorney for Democratic Chairman Mohammed Al-Hamdani, but he's also married to Debbie Lieberman, who is running against Mary McDonald for county commissioner. Right now, it isn't clear how he got that document. Ohio Representative Phil Plummer, who supports former Mayor McDonald, says that this isn't the first time Board of Elections has had an issue with leaked documents.
Same as my race. They leaked from my opponent that his petitions were invalid, so he withdrew them. Now he's filing as a write-in candidate. Second leak in the past month down here at the Board of Elections.
We wanted to know how this information was leaked, but all the Board of Elections would tell us today is that they are going to launch an investigation. Former Mayor McDonald says none of this is fair to her in the slightest.
Someone illegally put information out into this side of protest that my attorneys did not have and others did not have. And that really says that there are problems here in this office.
At the end of the hearing, 2 of the Board of Elections members voted against Mary McDonald and 2 voted in favor. So now the official vote goes to the Secretary of State. McDonald says she's optimistic.
I'm going to work as hard as I can to make sure that I bring a level of light to this particular office that I think needs to happen as soon as possible.
After today's hearing, we went in the Board of Elections office to try to interview one of the directors, but they weren't available, and I was told that I would hear from them tomorrow. Now, we will keep trying to get in contact with them about this document leak and the investigation that they plan to launch. Back to you.
The Montgomery County coroner identifying the man who was shot on a basketball court Friday. 20-year-old Isaiah Murray died from a gunshot wound near Roosevelt Elementary School. That shooting prompted a lockdown at the school on Friday, but there was nobody else was hurt. Now, a canine unit was used to try and find the suspect, but they have not been found yet. Dayton police still very much investigating.
3 people are now in the hospital after a crash involving a semi this morning. Officers received reports of that crash around 9 a.m. on I-75 in Sydney. When crews arrived, they saw a semi on its side and another vehicle had also crashed. Medics took 3 people to the hospital. As of now, the victims' injuries are unknown.
The Ohio Supreme Court has now ruled the former chairman of the Public Utilities Commission of Ohio can have his assets frozen. Sam Randazzo was indicted last month, accused of getting a $4.3 million bribe from First Energy to help construct House Bill 6. That's a $1 billion bailout for Ohio's 2 nuclear power plants. It's also part of the largest corruption scandal in state history. Now up to $8 million in Randazzo's assets will be frozen. State Attorney General Dave Yost's civil case is ongoing. He says on X tonight, quote, he doesn't get to spend his bribe and become judgment proof. We're solving problems until both boots are dirty.
Ohio lawmakers are willing to pay the price for students not to skip school. A proposed House bill is looking at money as a motivator to increase attendance. Paige Barnes reports on how school-grade kids could make bank.
Ohio students could be making cash for attending class. That's what House Bill 348 hopes to do. But it needs some districts with chronic absenteeism and poor graduation rates to apply to the pilot program. Ohioans who miss 18 or more days, even with an excuse, are considered chronically absent. So, under the bill, high schoolers can get $250 just for graduating and even more money for a high GPA. Co-author and state representative Bill Seitz says the truancy warnings just aren't working.
What's the old saying? Half a life is just about showing up. We can't even get them to show up, okay? And then graduation, we all know that you make a lot more money in life if you have a high school degree than if you don't.
Paige Barnes reporting.
An Ohio native dropping out of the race for the Republican presidential nomination. What led to that decision and his future plans next.
And a gunman who killed 5 people at an LGBTQIA+ nightclub last year has been charged with dozens of federal hate crimes tonight. Details about this tragic incident next.
And we have this frigid cold, and we're talking the chance for some snow showers. We'll talk about it coming up in our 4 forecast. Here's a look at your Eco Plumber Skycam. You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
Doctors will now help decide whether a woman who's accused of shooting her own grandchild is mentally able to stand trial for the crime. Chelsea Sick is in Hamilton with new information on the case.
Prosecutors told us today that baby's condition is improving, but that's all that they could tell us. We know that baby had previously been in critical condition. Take a look at this video. 43-year-old Mia Harris made another appearance in court this afternoon. She faces 5 felony counts, including felonious assault charges. Harris didn't speak during the arraignment. Her attorney, David Albrecht, filed a not guilty and not guilty by reason of insanity plea on her behalf. The judge then ordered a competency evaluation. On December 9th, police responded to the Liberty Township townhouse where Harris lived with her family. Detective Dan Turner previously testified everyone in the home had been asleep right before the shooting. He says Harris first started attacking another woman living in that townhouse. The detective says Harris told them her family was trying to take her money. She also allegedly told detectives that wasn't her grandchild. Detectives say Harris told them, quote, sorry, not sorry in regards to that shooting. She will be kept in jail without bond pending that competency evaluation. She's set to be back in court on February 27th. That's when prosecutors expect to get the results of that competency evaluation. Reporting in Hamilton, Chelsea Sick.
We know tonight 4 people, including the pilot, are dead and 1 critically injured after a hot air balloon crash in Arizona. It happened on Sunday. Investigators say 13 adults were aboard. A group of skydivers jumped from the hot air balloon moments before it crash landed.
It's just sad. It's sad and heartbreaking that there was a loss of life in this incident.
Police say the cause of the crash is unknown right now. The National Transportation Safety Board and the Federal Aviation Administration are investigating.
Back here at home, the big story tonight obviously is weather, and I don't know how many times we can really talk about it, but it's cold.
Yeah, as Adam said, it's real cold out there.
Yeah.
How cold is it?
It's real cold. Yeah, it's been a trend this week, you could say. Now, take a look at wind chills, current temperatures actually. 6 degrees in Dayton, Troy, Sydney, right up the middle. Wapakoneta sitting at 5 degrees, so everyone dropping down into those single digits, and there's a little bit of a breeze out there. So we have these wind chills all in the teens right now. Feels like -13 out in Richmond, -12 in Dayton, Salina, Sydney, Bellefontaine, and Wapakoneta, -14. So it is only going to get worse tonight too, as those winds pick up a little bit in the early morning hours, and those temperatures drop down to around 0 to 5 degrees. Good thing, I guess you could say, is it's clear, and on the back end of this, we're going to see some more clear skies move into the area tomorrow, but we do have a chance for some snow showers across the area coming Thursday and Friday, so we'll talk about that coming up.
The gunman who killed 5 people and hurt dozens more at an LGBTQIA+ nightclub in Colorado last year has now been charged with 50 federal hate crimes and 24 firearms violations. Now, 23-year-old Anderson Aldrich pleaded guilty to the new charges under an agreement that would let him avoid the death penalty. Now, Aldrich would get multiple life sentences plus a 190-year sentence. The gun charges carry a maximum penalty of death. Aldrich was sentenced to life in prison last June, pleading guilty to state charges of murder and attempted murder.
We can expect the DOJ's review of the Uvalde school shooting response to be released on Thursday. 19 children and 2 teachers were killed when a gunman opened fire inside Robb Elementary School on May 24th, 2022. Texas officials and law enforcement have been under intense scrutiny for how the response unfolded. 376 law enforcement officers were on scene that day, but it took 77 minutes for them to confront the gunman. The DOJ's report wants to give an independent account of police actions that day, plus identify best practices, to help first responders in future active shooter events.
Former President Trump and E. Jean Carroll in court for jury selection and opening statements today. This time around, 9 jurors will decide how much Trump will pay in damages for defaming Carroll in 2019 when he made statements denying her rape allegations. Now, Carroll is seeking more than $10 million. Trump has denied any wrongdoing, has appealed the jury's verdict and all rulings against him. Now, Carroll is expected to testify on Wednesday. Last May, a jury found Trump sexually abused Carroll in the 90s, then defamed her in 2022. She was awarded $5 million in damages.
Vivek Ramaswamy is now out of the Republican presidential race. The entrepreneur announced Monday night that he would suspend his campaign. This comes after he finished 4th in the Iowa caucuses.
There's no path for me to be the next president absent things that we don't want to see happen in this country.
Ramaswamy is now endorsing former President Donald Trump and says he plans to campaign for him in New Hampshire today.
And this is what caused him to step down. At last night's caucus, Iowa voters delivered former President Donald Trump a wide margin of victory, winning more than 50% of the vote. Exit polls showed Trump had the lion's share of support from both men and women and voters ages 30 and up.
If you look at Trump's dominance across pretty much every crosstab group, he won. He's going to win young people, first-time caucus goers. He's going to dominate among evangelical Christians, among women. Hello, Nikki.
Nikki Haley and Ron DeSantis are still very much in the race, though, and that leads us to today's question of the day. That is, we want to know, do you think Donald Trump is the inevitable Republican presidential nominee? You can share your opinion. Vote at this poll. It's at Dayton247now.com. Just click on the question of the day heading in the news tab.
And let's give you another live look tonight from our Eco Plumber Skycam right now and send things right over to meteorologist Tim Boyd. Tim, it's cold.
See what you did there. Yeah, so clear skies tonight. It is cold, Elise. Good job. 6 a.m. tomorrow, the clear skies will continue. But as we head towards the rest of the day, the later part of your day, we'll have some clouds build in from the north moving to the south right around dinner time, which is fine. The sun will have set. We'll have had our nice day already. And as we move into Thursday morning, right around 6 a.m., some snow showers possible off to our north. Not a whole lot of moisture in the first part of this system. It's a two-part system, Thursday and then Friday. So Thursday, a few afternoon snow showers possible. Some light accumulations definitely possible since we'll be really cold. These frigid conditions are going to be lingering with us. So the ground's plenty cold. There's already snow on the ground for many of us. The heaviest snow comes to Friday morning, and the heaviest of it right during our morning commute.
A group of pro-Palestinian federal workers threatened a walkout today to show support for Gaza, but some lawmakers say such a demonstration is against the law. That walkout didn't happen due to a blizzard, but their plan to participate in this day of mourning included staffers from the NSA, State Department, DOD, and the House of Representatives, White House, and many other agencies. Speaker Mike Johnson warning anyone who walked off the job deserves to be fired and promised disciplinary action. Strikes by federal employees are against the law. Critics argue this falls under the legal definition of a strike.
The federal law is very clear. If you're a federal employee, you can't strike. There's no one who works in the government for any length of time and doesn't have any number of policies that they intensely disagree with.
And that too, as like a double feature event.
The films will premiere on February 17th at 6:30 p.m. The director and writer will be there for a live Q&A.
The merger between grocery store giants Kroger and Albertsons won't happen for another several months. Antitrust regulators are discussing the $25 billion deal, hope to complete the merger by August. Now, the Washington State Attorney General, though, suing to block it.
Shoppers will have fewer choices and less competition, and that results in higher prices. A vice president of marketing with Albertsons wrote, and I'm quoting, "You are basically creating a monopoly in grocery with the merger. It makes no sense."
A joint statement from Kroger and Albertsons disagrees, saying the merger would, quote, bring lower prices to more customers, strengthen and create good-paying union jobs, and bring more fresh, affordable food to more communities. The grocers have agreed to sell off several stores to maintain competition.
Dayton men's basketball back home and back in the top 25 of both major polls, but would the Flyers be on upset alert hosting St. Louis? You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
The Dayton 24/7 Now News app, brought to you by the Jeff Schmidt Auto Group.
Good evening, I'm Matt Digby with a look at sports. 10 straight wins, a big reason why Dayton men's basketball returned to the top 25 of both major polls on Monday, but a busy week with 2 key home games commencing Tuesday as the Flyers hosted St. Louis. UD donning the Chapel blue uniforms at home for the Billikens visit. In the first half, Javon Bennett will try a 3 that's too strong, but Enoch Cheeks securing the rebound, and he will score from close range, so the Flyers with the early lead. Later, Cheeks will feed Deron Holmes, who's going to be left open for a slam dunk. So Dayton has the early momentum. It continues. Kobe Brea driving inside the paint. He'll kick out to Cheeks, who connects for 3 from the corner. However, St. Louis would go on a run themselves. Sincere Parker going to start from the top of the key, run down the right side of the paint, and count this basket off the backboard. Moments after that, Mike Meadows looking for an open teammate on the wing. Eventually, he tries a 3 himself, which is good, and the Billikens go in front for the first time. But Dayton trying to respond. Holmes will kick out to Bennett,